estate to real estate. It's Money Matters with Dino.
All right, so we have two great guys here on today. Aaron Hodson, CEO of Harcourts USA, and Andrew Ritter, CEO of Own USA. What we talked about during the break that I want to bring up is the fact that Australia, they've actually never had a recession before. So, just tell us why that is. Like, how has all that been determined?
Well, I think, when you talk about recession as an economy and a recession in housing, the housing market over these years really, and even the economy, didn't happen. Mining, I think, we brought that up earlier, that's a big contributor to the factor. And then a lot of people have had that mentality of really wanting to have ownership in homes, and there wasn't a major catastrophe or catastrophic event that pushed it. Also, as I brought up on the break, the banks were very well stabilised and capitalised, and people had a high equity position, were forced to have high equity positions as it relates to the purchase of the home. So all those factors together really prevented that.
So let me ask you this, though, the high equity position of the home. Obviously, here in the States, we take a different approach, and I got to admit, if we told everybody here they got to have 20-30%, I don't know if 70% of the current home buyers would actually ever have a home.
You wouldn't.
They wouldn't, right?
Yeah, I think there's a cultural difference as well. I mean, I sort of think back on the years, and putting a big deposit down on a home was a cultural thing that we were sort of taught growing up, and it was it was just the way that because that's I know there's always been that joke that we used our equity as an ATM machine for so many years here in the US, but in Australia that's where you saved your money. You put and in New Zealand was the same. You saved your money on your home, and there was also tax incentives to put more money down and pay off your mortgages. So there was encouragement from the government to reduce those.
So there's tax incentives to pay off your home.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
There's
interesting.
forced superannuation as well. There's it's interest, things that you pay on your interest, that type of thing. There's also forced superannuation, which is our retirement. You have to put 9% of your income. There were opportunities for you to put that into rental properties. That had to be cashed down, so you couldn't borrow against that type of thing. I mean, you can go into it in so much more detail, but there were incentives to make sure that you didn't own or owe 90% of the home value. You're having equity. I mean, I just think back when I was a kid, we were taught that's where your safety net was.
Sure.
The equity in your home was what you could always count on. So getting rid of your equity was never good. And even when you went to buy rental properties, I think about a couple of my friends that were mortgage lenders, make sure you maintain 20%. Make sure you got 20%. Don't spend it all, because that is your safety net.